Isabella pulled up the strap of her old backpack and held the basket of oranges carefully on her arm. The San Telmo market was very busy, like always on a Saturday. She needed to sell fast, there wasn't much money left and she needed to pay for the doctor. Fresh oranges. 2 for, she shouted, trying to be louder than all the people talking and selling things. A man wearing a low hat and an old jacket walked up to her. He looked at the oranges, but he seemed more interested in something else. "Hey kid," he said in a quiet voice. "Why are you selling these? I know a way you can make more money. Fast." Isabella felt a chill go down her back. She knew what he meant. "No thanks," she said firmly. The man moved a little closer. "Listen kid, life is hard. You won't get far selling oranges. Think about it." He dropped a small card into her basket and disappeared into the crowd. Isabella looked at the card, then quickly ripped it into little pieces. That was not an option. When the market started to empty, she counted her money. It wasn't enough. Not even close. Her mom, Gabriella, arrived looking very tired. "How did it go, my love?" she asked, trying to smile. "Good, Mom," Isabella lied. "I sold almost everything." Gabriella sighed and hugged her daughter. "Tomorrow is another day, right? Let's go home." Back at their small apartment in La Boca, Gabriella counted the coins while Isabella made dinner, breaded meat with mashed potatoes, something they could make last for a few meals. "The rent went up again," Gabriella said, not looking at her. "I don't know how we will pay this time." Isabella stopped stirring the mashed potatoes. "I can sell more, Mom. I'll go to the market early tomorrow." Gabriella looked at her daughter with tears in her eyes. "No, my love. You need to rest. The treatment is making you weaker." "But if I don't sell, how do we pay?" Isabella felt anger bubbling inside her, not at her mother but at life, at everything. Gabriella stood up and hugged her. "We'll figure it out, okay? We always do." But Isabella knew that wasn't true. She looked at the picture of Messi on the fridge, a newspaper clipping she kept like a lucky charm. If only he could come and fix everything. The next day she went to the market earlier than ever. The basket of oranges felt heavier, and so did the pain in her body, but she didn't stop. As she called out to customers, a man stopped in front of her. He wore dark sunglasses and a simple coat, but something about him felt familiar. "How much for all of them?" he asked, pointing at the oranges. Isabella was surprised. "All of them?" "Yes, all." She quickly did the math. 1,500 pesos. The man took out a 2,000 peso bill and gave it to her. "Keep the change." Isabella stared at the money, not believing it. "Thank you, sir. Thank you so much." The man smiled and started to walk away, but then stopped. "Why are you selling oranges at your age?" She hesitated. "It's for my treatment. I have cancer." The man was quiet for a moment. Then he took off his sunglasses. Isabella almost dropped her basket. "Messi," she whispered, shocked. He looked at her seriously. "What's your name?" "Isabella." "Well, Isabella, I'm going to help you. But I need you to promise me something." "What?" she asked, still in shock. "That you'll never stop fighting." Isabella nodded, tears rolling down her cheeks. Messi took out his phone and made a quick call. "I'm sending someone to talk to your mom. See you soon, okay?" Before Isabella could answer, he disappeared into the crowd. She stood there, holding the money in her now empty basket, not sure if any of it was real. That night, when Gabriella came home, Isabella ran to tell her everything. "Messi." Gabriella laughed, not believing her. "Are you sure, my love?" "Yes, Mom." Was him. "He promised to help us." Gabriella hugged her, but her smile looked worried. "Well, my love, we'll see. Now go to sleep." Isabella lay in bed, unable to sleep. She looked at the picture of Messi on the fridge and smiled. For the first time in months, she felt hope. But deep inside, a little voice whispered, "What if he doesn't come back?" She woke up early, her heart still racing from the memory. She got dressed, grabbed her empty basket, and went to the market. She wanted to see Messi again. But she also felt a little doubt. At the market, Don Ramon was already setting up his empanada stand. He was an old friend, always with a joke or advice. "Hey kid, what are you doing here so early?" he called as he set up his trays. "I came to sell more oranges," Isabella said, trying to sound sure. Don Ramon looked at her empty basket and frowned. "And the oranges?" "I sold them all yesterday. A man bought them." "A man?" he asked. "What man?" Isabella hesitated. "It was Messi." Don Ramon chuckled but stopped when he saw her serious face. "Really, kid? Messi?" "Yes. He promised to help us." Don Ramon sighed and put a hand on her shoulder. Look, Isabella, famous people make a lot of promises, but they don't always have time to keep them. Don't get your hopes up too much, okay? She looked down, feeling unsure again. But he seemed honest. I hope he was. But for now, how about a coffee? My treat. Isabella agreed, and they walked to Café Tortoni, a famous place in Buenos Aires. They sat down and ate croissants with coffee. Don Ramon told Isabella stories about other market sellers who had hard times but never gave up. Life is like a soccer game, kid, he said with a smile. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But the most important thing is to keep playing. Isabella laughed, but she still felt worried inside. What if Messi doesn't come back? Then you keep going just like you always have, Don Ramon said. You don't need Messi to be strong. When they got back to the market, Isabella felt a little better. She started selling the oranges Don Ramon gave her. But not many people bought them. Later in the afternoon, a man wearing nice clothes walked up to her. Are you Isabella? He asked, looking at a tablet. Yes, that's me, she said. I'm Diego Messi's helper. He sent me to talk to you and your mom. Isabella's heart started beating fast. Really? She asked. Yes. Can you take me to your house? Isabella wasn't sure what to do, but Don Ramon smiled at her. I'll come with you. Don't worry, he said. Together, they went to Isabella's apartment. When her mom, Gabriela, opened the door, she looked surprised. What's happening? She asked. Ma'am, I'm Diego Messi's assistant. He wants to help your daughter, Diego said. Gabriela looked at Isabella, who nodded with excitement. And what does he want in return? Gabriela asked. Nothing, ma'am. He just wants to help, Diego said. Gabriela thought for a moment. What do we have to do? Just sign some papers and plan everything. But first, Isabella needs some medical tests to make sure she can travel, Diego explained. Isabella felt nervous. She didn't like tests. And if I can't travel? She asked quietly. Diego smiled. Don't worry, Isabella. Messi won't let anything stop you from following your dream. That night, while making dinner, Gabriela looked at Isabella. Are you sure this is what you want, my love? Yes, Mom. It's my dream, Isabella said. Gabriela sighed and hugged her tight. Then let's do it. But remember, no matter what happens, you are my hero. Isabella smiled, but deep inside, she still felt a little scared. The next day, they went to the hospital for the test. It was quick but tiring. When they finished, the doctor told them to wait for the results. How long will it take? Gabriela asked. A few hours, the doctor said. You can wait in the cafeteria. Isabella and Gabriela sat near a window in the hospital cafeteria. Isabella looked outside and saw some kids playing. She wished she could play too. Mom, she asked softly. Yes, my love. What if the results are bad? What if I can't go? Gabriela took her hand. It doesn't matter what the results say. You are my hero and Messi knows it too. Isabella smiled a little, but she still felt nervous. A few hours later, the doctor called them back. He looked at the test results with a serious face. The treatment is working, he said. But Isabella is still very weak. Traveling now could be dangerous. Isabella felt her heart drop. So I can't go? She asked sadly. I'm not saying that, the doctor said. But she needs to rest for a week and eat special food to get stronger. Gabriela looked at Isabella, who had tears in her eyes. And if we do that, can she go? Gabriela asked. Yes, if she follows the instructions exactly, the doctor said. Isabella took a deep breath. And Messi? What will he think? She asked. Don't worry about that, Gabriela said, hugging her. We will do whatever it takes. That night, while they were making dinner, the phone rang. It was Diego. Isabella? He said, sounding excited. Yes, it's me, she answered. Messi wants to see you. Can you come to his hotel tomorrow? Isabella looked at her mom. Gabriela nodded. Yes, I can go, Isabella said. Great. A car will pick you up at 10, Diego said. The next day, Isabella and Gabriela went to Messi's hotel. It was a big, fancy place with lots of security guards. When they walked into the room, Messi was sitting on a couch with a laptop. He stood up and smiled. Isabella, Gabriela, he said. Thank you for coming. Isabella couldn't speak. She was too excited. Gabriela spoke for her. Thank you, Messi, for everything, she said. Messi looked serious. Diego told me about the test results, he said. Isabella looked down. I can't travel yet. I'm too weak. Messi knelt down in front of her. Listen, Isabella, he said kindly. You are a fighter. If you need time, that's okay. You will not miss this chance. Understand? Isabella nodded, tears running down her face. Good, Messi said. Let's make a deal. You focus on getting better and I'll take care of everything else. Deal? Deal, Isabella said with a small smile. Messi looked at Gabriella. Trust me, ma'am. We will make this work, he promised. Gabriella nodded, but she still felt a little worried. As they left the hotel, Isabella looked up at the sky. For the first time in a long time, she felt hopeful. Mom? She asked as they got in the car. Yes, my love. Do you think Messi is an angel? Gabriella laughed but had tears in her eyes. No, my love. He's just a man who knows how to fight. Are you ready to start? Isabella's mom asked with a big smile. Yes, Mama, Isabella said, rubbing her sleepy eyes. The first visitor was the nutritionist. His name was Mateo and he was young and kind. He brought a lot of healthy food and a special diet plan. We will make you strong, Isabella, he said while putting the food in the fridge. But you have to eat exactly what I tell you. Okay, Isabella said. But she looked at the food with a little frown. What if I don't like it? She asked. You will like it, Mateo said with a smile. Trust me. Soon after, the physiotherapist arrived. Her name was Elena. She had exercises to help Isabella move and feel stronger. We will start slow, Elena said, helping Isabella stand up. Every day you will get stronger. Isabella tried her best, but her body still hurt. Her mom, Gabriella, watched from far away, not wanting to disturb. After Elena left, Gabriella came closer. How do you feel, my love? She asked. Tired, Isabella said with a small smile. But good. That night, while they were making dinner, the phone rang. It was Diego. Isabella, Messi wants to talk to you, he said, excited. Isabella grabbed the phone with shaky hands. Hello. Hi, Isabella, said a warm, familiar voice. Was Messi. How are you? Good. I'm doing my exercises and eating healthy, Isabella said. That's great. Messi said. I have a surprise for you. A surprise? Isabella asked. I am sending a private plane for you and your mom. You won't have to take a regular flight. Isabella's eyes went wide. Really? Yes, really. But you must keep working hard, okay? Okay, Isabella said with a big, happy smile. She gave the phone to her mom and turned to her. Mama, Messi is sending a private plane for us. Gabriella stayed quiet for a moment, trying to understand. And what will we do with that? She asked. We are going to Barcelona, Isabella said with excitement in her eyes. That night, before bed, Gabriella looked at her daughter. Are you sure this is what you want, my love? Yes, Mama. It's my dream. Gabriella sighed and hugged her tightly. Then we will go. But no matter what happens, you are my hero. Isabella smiled, but deep inside she was a little scared. The next morning, the phone rang early. It was Diego again. Isabella, the travel papers are almost ready, but we need a doctor's permission first. Isabella's heart started beating fast. What if they don't let me go? She asked, her voice shaking. Don't worry, Diego said. Messi is helping. We will find a way. Gabriella was already up, making breakfast. Isabella sat at the table, staring at her phone. What's wrong, my love? Her mom asked, putting a plate of toast with dulce de leche in front of her. We still need the doctor's permission, Isabella said. What if they say no? Gabriella sat next to her and held her hand. Listen, Isabella. Messi is doing this because he believes in you. And so do I. Isabella looked at her mom, her eyes filling with tears. But I'm scared, Mama. I'm scared too, Gabriella said softly. But being brave means doing something even when you are scared. At the consulate. Later they went to the consulate to finish the travel papers. The line was long and the sun was very hot. Isabella's legs felt weak, but she didn't want to sit down. What if they say no? She whispered to her mom. They won't, Gabriella said, trying to sound sure. When they reached the counter, a man looked at their papers. You need a doctor's permission, he said without looking up. It's coming, Gabriella said. But we have a letter from Lionel Messi. The man's eyes widened. Messi? Yes, Isabella said, showing him the letter. The man read it, then looked at Isabella. You're the girl everyone is talking about? Isabella nodded, feeling shy. The man smiled. Okay, let's see what we can do. He picked up the phone and made a call. After a few minutes, he turned back to them. It's approved, but bring the doctor's paper tomorrow. Gabriella held Isabella, who was about to cry from happiness. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. When they left the consulate, Isabella looked up at the sky. Do you think everything will be okay, Mom? Yes, my love, Gabriella said, hugging her. Because you deserve it. That night, as they made dinner, the phone rang again. It was Diego. Isabella, I have good news, he said. The doctor's permission is ready. Isabella felt a huge weight lift off her heart. Really? Yes. Tomorrow we will get the passports and then off to the airport. She gave the phone to her mom and turned to her. Mom, the papers are ready. We are going. Gabriella stood still for a moment. And what will we do with that? She asked. We are going to Barcelona, Isabella said, her eyes shining. That night, before bed, Gabriella looked at her daughter again. Are you sure this is what you want, my love? Yes, Mom. It's my dream. Gabriella sighed and hugged her tightly. Then we will go. But always remember, no matter what happens, you are my hero. The next morning, Isabella woke up before the sun. Her heart was racing. Today was the day. Gabriella was already up, packing their bags. Ready, my love? Her mom asked, trying to stay calm. Yes, Mom, Isabella said, putting on the jacket Messi had left for her at the consulate. They were finally going to Barcelona. There was already a long line, but Diego was waiting for them at the entrance. Come on, girls, he said with a big smile. Everything is ready. Inside, the man who had helped them the day before saw them and smiled. Oh, the famous ones, he said. Here are your passports. Isabella took her passport with shaky hands. She looked at her picture from weeks ago. She looked different now, thinner and tired, but her eyes were shining in a new way. Thank you, sir, Gabriella said, holding her passport like it was treasure. You're welcome, the man said. Good luck in Barcelona. When they left the office, Diego took them straight to the airport. The car was big and fancy with dark windows and cool air inside. Isabella looked out, trying to remember everything about the city. Maybe she would never see it again. At the airport, Diego took them through a special entrance so they didn't have to wait in long lines. Messi wants everything to be perfect, he explained as they walked through a quiet hallway. When they got to the plane, Isabella stopped and stared. It was a small and beautiful private jet, with Barcelona's logo on the side. Is that our plane? Isabella asked, surprised. Yes, Diego said with a smile. Messi wants you to travel comfortably. Inside, the plane was amazing, soft leather seats, a small kitchen, and even a TV with movies. Isabella sat by the window, looking at the sky she would soon fly through. Mom? She asked as the plane started moving. Yes, my love. Do you think Messi is an angel? Gabriella laughed, but her eyes were a little teary. No, my love. He is just a man who knows how to fight for what is right. The plane took off and Isabella watched the city disappear below. For the first time in months, she felt that everything would be okay. As the plane flew high in the sky, Isabella kept looking out the window. She had never seen the world from above before. Next to her, Gabriella was a little nervous. Her hands were shaking. Mom, have you ever been on a plane before? Isabella asked. Once when I was young, Gabriella said with a soft smile. I visited your aunt in Cordoba, but the plane wasn't as fancy as this one. Isabella giggled, but then a worried thought popped into her mind. What if I don't like Barcelona? What if the doctors can't help me? Gabriella held her daughter's hand. Don't think about that now, my love. Just enjoy this moment. A kind flight attendant walked over to them. She smiled warmly. Hey, you're the girl from the news, she said. I'm Luciana. If you need anything, just tell me, okay? Isabella nodded, feeling more comfortable. Luciana brought her orange juice and some small sandwiches. Isabella ate them quickly. You like these sandwiches? Luciana asked, laughing. Yes, they're my favorite, Isabella said with her mouth full. The flight was smooth, but when the plane started landing in Barcelona, Isabella felt a nervous shiver. Mom, she whispered, squeezing her mother's hand. Yes, my love. What if Messi isn't there? What if all of this was a mistake? Gabriella looked at her daughter with teary eyes. It doesn't matter what happens. You already won, my love, because you never gave up. When the plane landed, Diego was waiting outside. He took them straight to a car, avoiding all the people and cameras. Messi is training at the stadium, Diego said as he drove. But he wants you to rest before seeing him. Isabella looked out the window, amazed. She had always dreamed of coming here. The streets were small, the buildings were old, and the sun was shining over the sea. Everything looked different but somehow familiar. At the hotel, which was big and fancy, Diego helped them with their bags. Rest now, he said kindly. Later we'll go to the stadium. Isabella lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling. Her heart was beating fast, but she also felt peaceful. Mom, she asked while Gabriella put clothes away. Yes, my love. Do you think Messi is an angel? Gabriella laughed again, but her eyes looked watery. No, my love. He is just a man who knows how to fight. Isabella woke up when the phone rang. It was Diego. The car will pick you up in an hour to take you to the stadium, he said. Gabriella was already awake, getting their clothes ready. Are you ready, my love? Her mother asked. Yes, Mom, Isabella said, putting on the Barcelona jersey Messi had sent her. In the car, Isabella felt nervous again. She looked outside, trying to take in every little detail of the city. When they arrived at the stadium, Diego took them through a special entrance. They didn't have to go through the big crowd of fans and reporters. Messi is in the locker room, Diego said as they walked. He wants to see you before the match. Isabella's heart pounded. She was about to see her hero again, but this time in his own stadium. In the locker room, Messi was sitting on a bench tying his shoes. He looked up and smiled at Isabella. Hi, Isabella, he said in a gentle voice. How are you? Good, thanks, Isabella answered, even though her hands were shaking. I'm happy you're here, Messi said, standing up. Today I'm playing for you. Isabella looked at him with teary eyes. Thank you, Messi. You're welcome, he said, giving her a hug. Now let's enjoy a great game, okay? After that, Diego led them to a special box where they could watch the match. The game started and Isabella couldn't take her eyes off Messi. He played with so much passion, as if every kick was just for her. At halftime, the score was still tied. Messi looked up at her and nodded. Come on, Isabella whispered, hoping he could hear her. This goal is for you. In the second half, Messi got the ball near the goal. He dribbled past 3 defenders and kicked the ball perfectly. It flew into the top corner of the net. The whole stadium cheered. Isabella jumped up, holding her mother's hand. He did it, Mom. He did it. Gabriella looked at her daughter with teary eyes. Yes, my love. He did it for you. When the match ended, Barcelona had won. Messi ran over to Isabella's box and hugged her. This goal was for you, he said with a big smile. Isabella looked at him with happy tears. Thank you, Messi. You're welcome, he said, hugging her again. Now let's celebrate. If you enjoyed this story, share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories filled with adventure, mystery, and excitement. Your support means the world, and it helps keep these stories coming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.